Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are all doing well, getting ready for your crossbow season. I am out here at the small shooting range today to test out Barnett's Hyperspeed Target. So I told you guys that was coming. I had told you I had a bout of COVID. Still struggling with that a little bit, but I'm on the upswing. I might cough a little here and there, but I feel a lot better. So this right here is Barnett's answer for their Hyperraptor. Now this is rated for 470 feet per second. So that should handle the Hyperraptor no problem. Now, last week we did the big shot target, which cost $200, I believe it was. I think this is more like 119. So what you're getting is a bag target, but right off the bat, guys, this weighs about, I'm not gonna say half, but it weighs significantly less than the big shot target. Now that could be a plus, it could be a negative here. I haven't shot into it yet, but I'm gonna bring it down there. We're gonna launch some arrows out of the Hyperraptor and see if it stops them. Is it easy to pull them out? Has Barnett, now Barnett is working with Merrill on this. Have they made a target that answers the problems you're having with your arrows going right up to the fletchings in pretty much every target except that big shot target that I used last week? Let's check it out. So I want to start just talking about a few things I've noticed right off the bat with this target. Now, something some of you guys might like is this actually got grommets here to make it easy to hang that from something. So if you wanted to hang it up in the air to kind of take some of that energy as the arrow hits it, that is an option. You got the side that has the deer, of course. And you have this side with all the different targets that you can aim at. So I'm actually gonna go with this side. I like having the different targets to aim at. So guys, it's basically your typical bag, right? It's kind of got that canvas material. You know, it's definitely not anything crazy. It's just a canvas tarp-like material over top of whatever filling they have in there. Now it does have like a piece of cardboard on the top to kind of keep that flat. Doesn't sit necessarily the flattest. It's your typical bag target. You're gonna have to kind of mush it and smush it to to kind of get it to sit how you want. But if it stops the arrows, it's relatively inexpensive, guys. Bag targets are not necessarily the cheapest either. But I don't know if you remember, I got a Hurricane 425 last year. It did not stop the Hyperraptor, and that was a bag target. Actually weighed more than this. So let's see if this does the job, and then we'll compare it to the big shot and see, you know, side by side what we think. So guys, obviously I have the Hyperraptor out here to test the target out because that's the main idea. But I also pulled out the original Barnett Game Crusher, guys. I've had that for 7 years, and that thing is solid. So it has never given me a problem except for when I made a mistake and dry fired it. So we're gonna shoot both of those down there. Obviously I'll start with the Raptor here and see how it does with that Hyperspeed target. And of course, guys, don't forget to lube and wax your strings and your rail. Just don't forget that, especially when you're shooting one like the Hyperraptor, guys. Take care of it. Do what you can to make sure that it doesn't have any problems. So I'm gonna make sure I do that before I take a few shots here, and we'll launch them and see how this does. Now that third one, you guys couldn't see very good from the angle I was shooting at, but I'll show you guys right here. So here's my first shot. There's my second shot. And that's my third shot. Now I know that's getting more towards the edge of the bag, but that's up to the fletchings. Not a ton, but it is a little bit. So I don't like seeing that on only my third shot. Was I off a little bit? Yes, I was off a little bit here. So that part's on me, but if it's rated for 470, it shouldn't be going in that far. Let's see, it blew out the back here. And yes, it's at a slight angle, but I don't think it should have, obviously I pulled it back out here, but it shouldn't have gone quite that far. The other two are good, so maybe it was just one shot. I'm gonna shoot a bunch more here and see. Now the other question is, how easy is it to pull these out? I don't know if you remember on my last review, the big shot target, it's 2 fingers, but then it gets up to that collar on these Hyperflight arrows, and it gets a pain in the butt to pull out. Is this bag target from Barnett gonna be the same thing? Let's find. So excuse it pulls really easy, guys. I'm not gonna say it's 2 fingers, but it's not hard to pull out. It's actually quite easy. So there's the collar, and it pops out. Now this one's buried all the way through. So actually, guys, those pulled out really easy. It's not 2 finger, but it's not much more. So that was the first 3. Let's shoot some more and see if we bury any more up to the fletchings. If it doesn't do that anymore, I don't know if I got a whole lot of complaints. Obviously, you don't want it to go that far up on the fletchings, but hopefully it was just a one-shot thing. Someday I'd like to bring a table out here and set stuff on that. Be a little cleaner. So you just saw me shoot 3 more. Let's go see how they look. So I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm not the steadiest shooting today. I don't know if it's just a result of being sick, or maybe I just ain't as stable as normal, but here we go again. You can see that one's sticking out good, that one's sticking out good. And I actually deliberately shot this one a little on the side on purpose, just to see. And you can see how far that's sticking out. So I'm not putting my foot here, guys, to like really reef on this. It's because I have the camera in the other hand. So here, I mean, you can see those pull out pretty stinking easy, guys. And actually, once you get to that collar, it's easier to pull the collar through this bag material than it is through that other target. So there you go. You can, obviously you're going to see your holes. But so far, so good, except for that one shot. Let me tell you, it sure beats cutting the target with a knife to get your bolts back out. And that's what I was doing most of last year. So I think this is 120 bucks, guys. If it's not, I'll correct that on the screen here, but I believe it's 120 bucks on their site. And they don't really advertise this that much. But check it out. I'm gonna shoot some more here and just see if I have any more problems, but I think it's gonna do the trick. I think it's gonna stop the bolts just fine. Obviously that one went up to the fletchings, but the fletchings didn't really dig in. As long as that doesn't happen on a regular basis, you know, obviously every target's gonna have a fluke one here and there, I think. But so far, I'm pretty impressed with that Hyperflight bag, or Hyperspeed. I guess they're Hyperflight bolts. So far, so good. Let's take some more shots. So there's another 3 shots, guys. Man, I am off today. I don't think it's the bow. I think it's me. I think I'm jerking a little bit. But even when you miss and you're a little high, just to show you how easy that comes out, guys. So honestly, I love that big shot target. But what the Barnett bag target has going for it is, one, it's lighter. 2, if you have the Hyper Raptor, these, or I think any of the Hyper bows from Barnett are going to have that collar on their Hyperflight arrows. It pulls out a lot easier, guys. It doesn't get caught as bad. It basically comes right out of their Hyperspeed Target. And cost is cheaper. So if you were looking at getting the Hyperspeed Target, I see no reasons why you shouldn't, guys. Shot 9 at it so far. I'm gonna shoot some more. I had one just go up to the fletchings, and that was on the very edge. The rest of them haven't even come close, and they pull out very easy. I think it's a great option if you're looking for something maybe a little cheaper. You know, you don't want the cheapest bag target, but you don't want to spend the big money to get a super nice target. You give up some of the fit and finishes, if you will. I actually like the color scheme. I love how it matches the Hyper Raptor red. It's a pretty sweet little target, and it does the job. And when I say little, guys, I don't really mean little. Let me show you. Now, this big shot target is 20 inches of shooting area. And you can see the Hyperspeed target is actually a little bit bigger. So it's a little more forgiving if you're teaching a young shooter. And yeah, it's not little. It's actually quite large. It's a little lighter. And it's stopping 410 feet per second, no problem. Now, there are some downsides to having a bag target. One, it doesn't want to sit on the ground as good. I had to kind of mash it to get it to sit. But there are those grommets. You can hang it from some kind of contraption if you want. You know, I don't think you're going to want to leave it outside. You know, I think that canvas would wear out pretty fast. So I'd probably store it inside, at least in the garage. But then it's lighter, so it's not that big of a deal to haul it back and forth to wherever you're going. I hauled it out here. It's not that bad. So overall, I mean, this is just an initial review, I guess I would call it. It does everything it's supposed to. It matches my bow, which is pretty cool. Does the job. You know I like Barnett, so I like that it's got the Barnett logoing on it, but that's not important. What's important is, does it stop the Hyperflight arrows without you destroying your fletchings? And the answer is yes. Now again, I had one go up to the fletchings, but it had slowed down so much it didn't do any damage and it pulled right out. I think even with another target like the Big Shot or other brands, if you shoot it enough once in a while, you're going to get one that goes up to the fletchings probably. But you're talking at, you know, around $90 less. It's definitely something to look at, guys. If you're looking for a target, check out the Barnett Hyperspeed Target. You're going to see it more on the channel here as we shoot more, as we test out more bows. It's not going anywhere. So next, I actually want to quick end this video by shooting into both of them just to see comparisons of how far it sticks out versus the Big Shot Target and how easy it pulls compared to the Big Shot Target, just to give you guys a side-by-side. And now, I don't want you guys at all to think that I'm saying the Big Shot Target isn't a good target. From my last video, you know, that thing is awesome. The 2-finger pull is sweet. And the only problem with it was actually Barnett's arrows. So if you want a little nicer looking target, a little denser target, one that sits up easier, that's an option. But what I'm doing here is showing you that there is a cheaper option, and Barnett actually makes it. So I tried to take a little video of me shooting each of these shots, and I shot one into each target just to compare. I couldn't hold the camera good, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you my shots. So here we go. For some reason, my accuracy seems better on that one. I don't know why that would be. I think it's just a fluke thing, but if you look here, guys, at a top-down view, that one is actually not in as far as in the Big Shot. Now, obviously, they both are doing the job they're supposed to be doing. But this one's sticking out just a tiny bit more. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here we go. Oh, that one's stuck in there a little more. See, once it gets to that collar, guys, that wasn't too bad. So you got a little more work to get it out, but then it comes right out. I don't want to keep just showing you guys, you know, the same shot over and over again. Obviously, it's doing the job pretty equivalently to the Big Shot Target, which cost a little more. I mean, if you look at them, obviously the Big Shot has a nicer finish. It looks nicer. It sits on the ground nicer. You know, it's encased better for weather, right? It's gonna be probably more element durable. It's just a bag. Granted, they've done a few things, you know, with the grommets, and they try to make it kind of flat so it sits better. Its finish isn't as nice. It's a tarp-like finish. It does the job. And so does the Big Shot Target, and it's very, very nice. But if you were thinking, hey, I don't need a 650 feet per second, because that's what you're paying for with the Ironman 650. That is made to stop 650 feet per second. If you don't need that, it's made to stop 470 feet per second. If you're shooting a Hyper Raptor, you're not shooting that fast. Most of us aren't shooting that fast unless you're stepping into 10-point Raven territory, and obviously, if you're like me, it's not the kind of money you got laying around. So just over $100, guys, for a target that stops the Hyperflight arrows. No pun intended here. I'd pull the trigger if you were thinking about it. It does the job, and it does it just fine. And it's really all you're gonna need, as long as you're not going over 470 feet per second. Very, very cool target, guys. Like I said, I like the color. I like the red. We'll keep using it here this season, see how it goes. If I have any issues with it, I will let you know. You'll see it in more videos, I'm sure. But thanks to all of you for coming along. I'm sorry if it wasn't quite the same energy, quite the same, I don't know. I'm not 100% yet. I'd say I'm a solid 60 maybe. That COVID knocked me out. So hopefully you guys all stay healthy. Hopefully you shoot straight as hunting season comes up on us, guys. Get out there, make sure you sight in, have fun. If you're looking for something to stop your hyperflight arrows, check out the Barnett Hyperspeed bag. It is on their website. It's not broadcast on their website. You gotta do a little searching for it. It might be in the accessories, I think. But go ahead and check it out. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on it. It is going to stop your bolts if you are shooting the Hyper Raptor or the new BCX Hyper Raptor. Thanks again for coming, guys. If you haven't, if you could just subscribe. I hate asking that, but it does help out. It lets me get more products like this to show you guys before you spend your hard-earned money on it. We'll catch you next time.